Hello, class. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this last discussion board that you're going to be doing. There are a few points on here that I wanted to make sure that you really understood well, because it can really mean the success or failure of your business, depending on which direction that you go. For chapter 16, which talks about leadership attributes, I wanted to point out a couple of resources that the textbook doesn't show you that I have found very useful in my personal life. The first one is called the Strengths Finders. If you've heard about this, probably because it's the #1 best-selling nonfiction book on Amazon, what it has in it is a quiz that you can take that will help you determine what your top 5 strengths are as a person. And these are just sort of strengths that you're born with and that are most natural to you. And the greatest thing about finding what your strengths are is it really allows you to discover areas that you should focus on. Because it's your strength, that means that you have a natural ability in a particular area, and that's something that you should exploit or use, and use even more than usual, as opposed to focusing on what you're weak in. And this brings me up to my second point, and that is for the chapter 17, hiring an employee is a big step. If you find out what your strengths are and you find out what your weaknesses are, because you can do the option of accessing all 34 of your strengths. So the typical thought is find the top 5 and focus and do those top 5 things, because that's what you're naturally really good at, and that's how you're going to make yourself great. If you find out what your bottom 5 things are, you can find out areas that, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to make that bottom area super awesome. So what you should do is you should hire somebody, an employee, that has those bottom strengths, and that are their bottom strengths for you, but for them it's a top strength. And that way they complement what they complement you. So you don't have to take on all areas of business and be amazing at everything. You just need to be amazing at what you are naturally amazing at, and find somebody else who's amazing in some other areas that you're not, and bring them on as an employee. And in that way, you can make your business the most chance of good success. There's one last thing I'd like to point out. John Maxwell, Inc. magazine, says he is the #1 leadership speaker in the world, and he's a great guy. I've had the pleasure of hearing him talk several times, and he has a lot of really good leadership books. So if you're looking for a really good leadership book about developing your own personal leadership abilities, almost any book by John Maxwell would do. Here are several of them right here: 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, Developing the Leader Within You. Those are 2 excellent ones that I've read and really recommend. And here's just some of the quotes that you can see that really shows that he's an awesome guy that you can take some really good leadership advice from. So one of my favorite ones is this one right here: change is inevitable, but growth is optional. And that's again, I really agree with that. Change is going to happen in this world. Whether you respond to the change and choose to grow or remain stagnant, that is up to you. So I hope you choose growth. All right, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing what you guys have to share.